Yogi Adityanath is likely to take oath on the 25th of this month, and amongst those invited are the various beneficiaries of the government schemes or Labharti, the group hugely responsible for BJP's return to power in Uttar Pradesh. Now, the Labharti system already is paying some rich electoral dividends, and hence the party finding it difficult to dilute the system ahead of the big final of 2024 and the many state elections till that big final. And hence the decision by the UP government to continue the free ration scheme in Uttar Pradesh. The Prime Minister, post the results, has spoken of a saturation coverage of these welfare schemes. All this at a point where government finances already are facing their biggest challenge. How would this be possible? And what is the message here for the voter, for the electorate, for the many different political parties? What is it that the road ahead looks like with the Labharti Varg and the politics hereon? That is what we decode here layer by layer on this edition of the news that you don't get. Now, the Labharti vote bank is here to stay. And what the BJP intends to do is to grow and build this entire vote block to make it stronger, to consolidate further, and not to forget, they already are working towards it. Because the BJP now plans to amplify its entire commitment to social welfare across the country, particularly in 5 key segments: in women, in SCs, in tribals, in OBCs, and also in minorities. And all this being done keeping in mind the big elections of 2024. Now, who really are these beneficiaries? These beneficiaries are people who not just get direct benefits, but also their families, and then also a large group of potential beneficiaries. This is an aspirational group of people who vote on apeksha, as an expectation of being one day included in this entire list. After becoming the Prime Minister, Modi has formulated a strategy revolving around the fact that for voters, individual benefits matter more than community benefits. Under his tenure, a lot of DBT schemes, as in direct benefit transfer schemes, have gained prominence. Some of them are the Prime Minister Awas Yojana, the Prime Minister Ujjwala Yojana, the Jan Dhan accounts, Prime Minister Kisan Nidhi Yojana, Mudra loans, Prime Minister Jeevan Suraksha Yojana, and the Ayushman Yojana. All these have gained popularity. So, what are the many questions that arise? Are we now entering a phase of Indian politics where, if for any reason, a particular political party is not able to deliver on a lot of other fronts, it doesn't need to worry, because it can make you a beneficiary and be assured of your vote? And how do these benefits work? Because they are tangible, they can be delivered easily, they can be monitored, they can be counted. The other important factor, does this also then signal the end of mandal politics in the country? Politics that has largely been done on caste-based lines, particularly in states like Uttar Pradesh and in Bihar. What happens to the mandal parties? What happens to their future? What happens to the neta? Will they have to reinvent themselves? The other important question, would this also somewhere lead to a competition now amongst different political parties trying to give you benefits or labs or freebies and trying to assure that you would end up voting for them? As in, which party gives you more doles? Is that what politics in the country now is becoming all about? Are voters getting extremely transactional? Is this becoming a quid pro quo kind of a system where they realize that any political party or a neta can make huge promises, but at the end of the day, they want to find out what is the benefit that you can deliver to them directly. And for them, what matters is only their individual and immediate needs. Another question that arises is about the empowerment of the voter. Because a lot of political parties and their netas tell us that when they provide benefit to the voter, they in turn empower them. So is free ration empowerment or is a job empowerment? Right now, unemployment in the country is at a 45-year high. So, in this new model, is providing jobs not the responsibility of the state anymore? Are citizens being encouraged to be job creators? I'm just remembering a quote from the Union Home Minister Amit Shah in one of the prominent national dailies, where he said that there is a difference in how we work. We've given people gas connections, power connections, and now it is up to people to pay their bills. We have built toilets for them, and now it is up to them to maintain them. He goes on to say that when we take populist measures, we promise to pay electricity bills and free gas. But on the other hand, what the BJP has done is to provide help to upgrade their lives. And that is why he says that the Labharti scheme or the Labharti Varg is a Varg or a vote bank that the BJP has empowered. So is this definition of empowerment now getting acceptable to the voter? Do they again believe that it's good to just have a free ration and be dependent on this, say, forever, and not think about why you should not be getting a job instead? So this is the BJP model. Now the Aam Aadmi Party also has a different model. The model that they used and they built up in Delhi, a model then they sold to the people, the voter in Punjab, and a model that they want to build on so that they can showcase this to the rest of the country. But in that model, you will not find any talks of development. It's not about building roads. It's not about creating infrastructure. It is not about creating any new industry and hence getting people jobs. Instead, it is about giving you subsidized electricity, free water, free health facilities, mohalla clinics. So is this the model that a particular political party is selling to the voter and the voter is accepting this? The results in Delhi and now in Punjab are giving us some kind of an indication. When you go down south, particularly in the state of Tamil Nadu, where you have seen, literal competition between the ADMK and the DMK for these freebies, for different populist schemes, whether this is for, curd rice at rupees 3, sambar rice for giving you TV, for giving you fridge, a lot of other kitchen appliances. So there you see these political parties literally competing amongst themselves. The next obvious thing that we look at now is the economics of this Labharti system. From where do you get so much money to ensure a saturation coverage? Now the challenge is huge. The challenge is even more daunting because of the economic fallout of the Ukraine-Russia crisis, also the many sanctions against Russia. Consumer inflation already has just crossed 6%, which is the upper limit of the RBI's comfort zone. India may also have to settle for a lower GDP growth of a 4 to 5% and higher inflation. Do not forget that without generating enough growth and income, the key question is, how will you be able to achieve this saturation coverage? Because if you cannot generate more revenue, you can borrow more then to meet these targets, but that again would have the risk of fueling higher inflation. A free ration to 80 crore people is costing the government about 2 lakh crore a year. Now, I also want to take you back to 2014. In 2014, when Narendra Modi came to New Delhi from Gujarat, he said something extremely important. He had spoken about his philosophy of moving India away from Congress's dole economy to empower people, to empower citizens to be able to provide for themselves. In contrast, is this Labharti system. Do you end up empowering people here or you end up making them more dependent? What works? What works for a political party and what works for the voter? And what works for the country? What works for the economy? So should we be working towards creating an economy that grows fast, that ensures that jobs are created, that also ensures that people and their dependence on these many Labharti schemes or the beneficiary schemes get reduced over time? And does this Labharti system has its own limits? Or this is the new political template that is here to stay? I think that's going to be a very fascinating question to ask, to talk, to discuss. I've just explained to you the different pros and cons and what it means on the road ahead. Do let me know what you think of this entire story, and we'll keep a close eye on what each political party says and does, and whether now there is a big competition to grab this Labharti vote bank. Again, a quick reminder, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe to the news that you don't get. Do share this video with more of your friends, your colleagues, like it, and let me know what you think and what are the other issues that you would want us to cover. Thank you for watching.